was a cold night, that was for certain. Hi Fiona, you would like to know if this savanna environment attracts different species, and yes, you know, it's all about the vegetation. The vegetation mainly dictates what kind of prey animals you get there, or herbivores, and then depending on the prey animals, the predators will therefore come in, and depending on their densities and dynamics, you know, you'll find different numbers of them. So in the Sabi sands you definitely find more leopard than you do here, and far less cheetah, and that's because that thick vegetation, it's not so much dictating the wrong food for the cheetah, but it just means it's very dangerous for the cheetah to be there, because there are lots of lion and leopard. And even though it is dangerous for the leopard, there's lots of escape routes for them there. There's lots of trees to climb up, whereas here, if a leopard gets caught out in the open, it's going to have some serious trouble, because it can't necessarily scamper up a tree. Hello young Tucker, just 5 years old. You would like to know, why does a lion poop smell more than a leopard's? And I'm not sure who told you that. If it was me, I must have explained myself badly, because all of the animals that eat meat, their poop smells the same, basically. I guess depending on what meat they've eaten. So all of them smell terrible. There's no two ways about that, and it's often difficult to distinguish between a lion poop and a leopard poop if you're just smelling it and not looking at it. Lion poops are quite a lot bigger than the leopard's poops. But they all smell quite terrible. It's a wonderful sight to see a fresh, steaming predator poo, especially when you're looking for them though. But looking is one thing and smelling is another. Let's go down here. Oh, just as well we turned around. Let's have a moment to reflect as we stare off to the west. The beautiful scene is unfolding over there. Ah, wonderful. How much longer will it be until the sun possibly pokes behind that big grey cloud? Maybe not too long, and I think we could get lucky. It'll be very dramatic if we do get some sun that manages to break the clouds, and I think it might just. Magical. Well, that is the end of the Olololo escarpment that tapers off there, and I'm pretty certain that is Tanzania. Let me ask our askari Sabi. Sabi, hiyo Olololo milima pahali wanaanza tuteremsha ni Tanzania ama bado iko kwa Kenya?
Tanzania.
So pahali wanaanza tu. Okay. So apparently the area where the escarpment starts to kind of staircase downwards becomes Kenya. So basically from there, I think that becomes, sorry, not Kenya, Tanzania. Isn't that a wonderful thought, that we can have views out to the neighbouring country? And a Land Cruiser. Hello, Kate Spade. I think I got your name right. You would like to know if I've had any encounters in the African wilderness that have scared me. And yes, I've had many scary encounters, all of different genres. Some scary encounters with lions on foot and leopards, so some scary big cat encounters. The scariest encounter with a mammal was certainly one with an elephant bull, who was intent on crushing me and my two guests from Beijing, who I was taking on a walk. And 4 days prior to the encounter where we came across him on a bushwalk, he had actually got a hold of our head ranger and tried to crush him. Thankfully, our head ranger fell into... They were trying to chase him out of our camp. We had an electric fence, elephant fence around the camp, which is basically 2 strands of electric fence that are about 2 meters off the ground. So everything else can pass through camp, barring giraffe and elephants, but sometimes they get in to cash in on the untapped resources. And then you have to try and chase them out, which is obviously a bit of an issue because elephants don't like being told what to do very often. And this one managed to get a hold of our head ranger. Things went bad and tried to crush him, but thankfully he fell into kind of like a natural coffin, which ended up saving his life in amongst some rocks. And the elephant couldn't crush him, even though it was standing above him. And what this meant is that the elephant had obviously overstepped in the boundary, that human-animal boundary, and realized that we aren't as scary and dangerous as we appeared to be. And when it came across us on the walk, it started coming straight towards us. And initially I didn't know it was the same elephant until it got a bit closer. And then I recognized him, and then I knew our work was cut out for us. And he continued to charge us and stop just beyond a trunk the length away. If he had have come close enough to hit me with his trunk, I would have had to shoot him, which would have been terrible. But he was literally just on the brink of that, and he would come charging in, stop at the final moment, shouting, screaming, "Hey, hey, hey!" And then he would stand in that same place, like right on the edge of my cutoff point, and he would just play with the sand with his trunk and blow it around, and then he would back up slowly. And then once he had backed up a little bit, he would come charging in again, and stop again. And that happened for about half an hour. I was a gibbering wreck by the end of it. And thankfully, by that stage, I'd radioed camp, and a vehicle had left camp to come and chase the elephant away with the vehicle. And as soon as this elephant heard that there was a vehicle coming, before the vehicle had even seen the elephants and kind of worked out how it was going to drive the car and chase it, the elephant started chasing the vehicle. So thankfully, that was when we hightailed it, and we got out of there. So that was probably the closest I've ever come to having to shoot something. Few scary encounters with buffalo and rhino as well. Probably something that gets my heart racing more than anything, though, is catching snakes. And you quite often do get venomous snakes in your guest's room or anything, and you get the call out, "There's a snake!" And you run off with the snake tongs, which are specially designed elongated tongs, which you can grab onto the snake with, as well as a clear visor in case it's a cobra that can spit at you, or some clear glasses. Sunglasses can be counterproductive because often they go into dark areas, and then you put your sunglasses on and you can't see them. So clear glasses are better. But yeah, catching snakes I find gets the heart really beating, especially obviously the venomous ones that can cause harm to you. Very good. So there's a kind of handful of the scary-ish things that happened out here. Good. It'll be interesting to hear what Byron's scariest moments is, although he has got such big biceps, nothing probably scares him.
Well, we are back. Fortunately, we've got our roof on, so this should help with some of the rain. And I'm going to go and check the Hyena Den. I know some of you might be quite excited. I don't know if there's going to be any activity because of this weather, but it's worth having a look anyway. Now, Scott, you've been speaking about scary moments. I'm trying to think, is my scariest moment... my scariest moment has been with an elephant, but it was our fault. It was our fault. I wasn't with guests or anything, and some of you have heard the story before. I've mentioned it before on Safari Live, but it was an elephant that had come into camp. Sorry, we will still have to wipe the screen every now and then because some of the water coming through the roof while we're driving. And this elephant came into camp and had been quite upset already because it had seen a lot of people, and we had to try and get this elephant out of camp. So myself and another guide walked to try and see where he was, just to keep people away. And he was heading towards the exit of the camp, so we thought, well, if he gets there, we can make a noise and try and get him out. So we followed him from a distance, but then he saw us out the corner of his eye, and he turned and charged, and I thought he would stop. So I stood my ground and I shouted, clapped my hands. Often that will startle an elephant and they may stop. Generally the golden rule is don't run. But my friend ran, and the elephant kept coming. And I then eventually, after 2 or 3 times of trying to stop the elephant, I then thought, I'm in trouble, I need to move, and I turned to try and run, but I lost my footing on a bit of a slope and I fell. And the elephant stopped a few meters away from me, fortunately. But I did get quite a fright. But again, that was our own fault. We were trying to get him out, but he stopped. He didn't want to hurt me, but that was quite a scary moment. But I still, as I said, I love elephant, and I've been very fortunate. Touch wood, that's the only close encounter I've had with an elephant. I've had a mock charge here or there, but nothing serious. And again, you've just got to have respect for the animals and give them their space. If you do see they are unhappy, that situation though, we were trying to get him out because there are people in camp, and that could potentially become dangerous. So that's a different scenario, a different situation. But anyway, yeah, we're not too far from that Hyena Den. Maybe we have some luck around there. Still light drizzle. Not great for my last drive. It's not great at all. But anyway, let's see what we can find, and let's go across to Jamie now and find out if she's got any scary moments to share with you.
Scary moments. Oof, I think you've heard all my scary moments at this point. I've told you the story of the black rhino called Elizabeth. She was one of my scariest moments. Another scary moment was with lions, and the lioness charged us, and I tried to tell people to back away from the lioness because she was growling and clearly very upset while we were on foot. And then we realized her cubs were behind us. That was another very scary moment. Fortunately for us, she was exceptionally tolerant, because lionesses with cubs obviously can be very dangerous. But she was very kind, and we were able to negotiate our way out of that situation by just slowly walking away from her and the cubs. The trick, of course, as you know, is that you must never ever run. What other scary moments have I had? I've told you as well about the scariest moment I've had here, which was during the wildebeest stampede when we were watching the lions hunt them. Look at these little baby Tommies. Oh, don't run away, you're so cute. Oh dear, squeaky brakes added to the slight panic there. I can't blame Mila's brakes for squeaking though. They must be so full of mud and sand at this point. So the plan now for the rest of the evening, just so that you know, is to go off in search of a hyena den. I don't know whether Scott knows of any around the Tulloch region. It would be great if he did, but that would be really, really lovely. See if we can get more acquainted with this particular area. Well, the lovely news is that Byron and I are on exactly the same page. We might not have one here in the Mara close to Tulloch, but we do have one in South Africa, and the hyenas are out.
Look how lucky we are. We've got some activity, and 2 very playful hyena cubs, the one little one, and then that other one that's a little bit older. Now I don't see, because they're 2 young ones. I think they're around 2.5 months old, if I'm not mistaken. The young ones. I stand to correction. I'm not sure when they were first seen, but I think they're about 2.5 months old. Let me go forward a little bit here. Let's try to get another view. And then that the other one must be probably 4 or 5 months old, I think. There we go. And there is an adult here. I was wondering if there'd be an adult around. Wonderful, wonderful. Look at the very inquisitive little cub. I can see the other one is here too, just off to the right, close to the, sorry, my head's in the way, the termite mound, there it is. Oh, now this little one's coming right up to the vehicle. Oh no, it's just in front of us. Where did it go? Can you see it, Vim? Is it that side? Oh, it's just over here, next to me. Let's see if we can see it. at that. That's so cute and so inquisitive. Hey, come on. Don't want them to get too used to the vehicles, or bite the vehicles or anything like that. So just a light little tap on the vehicle sometimes just gets him to move back. Oh, they are beautiful. They're actually really, really cute at this age. Not many people think the hyena are cute, but I do. These youngsters, I think they get a bit of a bad rep because of the Lion King, but they are cute, very curious, and very interesting animals. I do enjoy watching hyena. I mentioned it this morning. Probably the best trackers in the bush. They are able to find prey. Oh, no, not prey. Sorry, carcasses very, very easily, and they'll follow other predators. Can you see that one there, Fia? Just watching this little one. Hey, don't bite the vehicle. Just a little tap, and then just to get them moving away. But they're all very curious. Now here comes the older one. So just sniffing. So these are all new smells for these hyena. No. Hey, no. Stop that. They're just trying to nibble on the tires now. It's all unusual smells for these hyena. The one is actually licking moisture off the bull bar. Chelsea, you asked, well, how come one is darker than the other? It is interesting. I noticed that too. I don't know, because the one has just developed spots a lot sooner than the other one. They're the same age, but I'm not sure why. Maybe the other one is just developing a bit quicker. Stop it. It's almost like they're teasing me. They've got beautiful big dark eyes. It's a pity that it's just at the wrong angle. They're right here in the front of the vehicle, but you can't see them. There we go, you might see. There's one. Hey. Excuse me a second, somebody's just radioing me at the moment. Hold on. Go ahead, Mike, go ahead. Okay, copy, thank you. I'm on Aubrey's Road at the moment, so I'm quite far from that area. But I'll try head down there, thanks a lot. Copy that, Mike. Thanks very much. Try to stick with him. Well, that's an exciting update. They've just told me that there's some wild dog heading in this direction, well, towards Djuma. Now, that is very, very exciting. I wonder if we don't... I'm just worried again. The signal area that they are going into isn't great. We were down there earlier and we didn't have signal. So I'm a bit worried. I'll listen out and see if they change direction or change the area. They're not on Vuyatela yet, so we won't be able to see them anyway. But if they come across, maybe we get a view of wild dog this afternoon. That would be great. Where are these little ones? I don't want them. VM, can you see them that side? AB, you asked if hyenas can bite through tires. I wouldn't be surprised. They've got very, very powerful jaws, and I've mentioned the power of their jaws before. Yes, and I know sometimes... Where are they? I'm getting a bit worried. Can't see these little ones. just in the front of the vehicle. So I've seen hyena bite through tires on a plane before. So occasionally the planes that fly guests in and out of the lodges, they land and overnight in an area, and hyenas, being the inquisitive animals they are, they'll go and bite the tires. So nowadays they've got barriers that they put around the tires, or what they do is they pack thorn trees around the tires, or branches of thorns around the tires to prevent the hyena from biting them. So you do have to be careful, but they can bite through tires. These youngsters wouldn't be able to, though. But we don't want them getting used to the vehicle, or too used to the vehicles. But it seems like they're being very, very curious at the moment, and I can't see them, so I don't know what they're up to. Stop it. Proud Cat Mama, you asked if the adult doesn't mind them being this close to us. Well, clearly not. She seems to be quite comfortable with them being this close, but again, these animals know that there's no threat or danger, so that is the most important thing. But as I said, we don't want them getting too close. These youngsters are being very naughty, and we've got to be careful, because they might, I don't know if they're biting little wires or anything in the front of the vehicle. I mean, the last thing we need is for Rusty to break down even more. Although Rusty's been okay the last little while. Such a great sighting. They're being so playful, walking around and trying to get to the front of the vehicle. Stop it. It's like a naughty little puppy almost. Look, yeah, it's right next to me. How great is this? Can you see it? Just over there. Hold on, let me move. Oh, no. Sorry. So I can't move anyway. It's so close to us. It's so inquisitive. That's a thing. Okay, well, I'm going to sit here a little bit longer with these hyena, but I'm going to listen to the radio and see what's happening with those wild dogs too. While I do that, let's go back across to the Mara and see that, well, Brent's apparently, got a beautiful sunset he'd like to show you.
Isn't that gorgeous? The sun starting to dip below the cloud. Isn't that absolutely stunning? So I've got an idea. We used to do this every now and then. We haven't done this for quite some time. But what I want to say is, let's just have a couple of minutes of silence while we watch the sun set and just listen to all the different sounds of the African bush as that sun disappears below the western horizon. So, are you ready? Time to be quiet. Isn't that just the most peaceful scene? Now, use the hashtag #SafariLive to let me know how that beautiful, beautiful scene made you feel. Magic, magic, magic. So we've got some ellies heading towards the north. So I was hoping they were going to walk into the sun as it sets, but we can't have everything. So there we go. There is that red orb. Well, let's wait a few seconds. Let's watch that sun disappear down behind the horizon. You know, it's setting in Tanzania from where we're sitting. And looking at those lovely rays starting to creep through. Magic, magic, magic. There we go. Ellie's walking into shot just as I was hoping. I hope you are getting some fantastic screenshots. Beautiful. It's always wonderful to just take a moment to enjoy a scene like this. As my dad calls it, it's magic hour at this time of the day. And I know some of you out there might disagree with me, but I don't think anywhere beats magic hour in the world, apart from Africa, of course. Anywhere in Africa. It is a truly special place, and very, very lucky to call it home. Lady Goya says breathtaking. Indeed it is. Ginger, excellent. Humble. It is humbling to be able to sit and watch a scene like this. And it just reminds us how lucky we are every day to be able to take you all on safari and share these incredible experiences with you wherever you might be. Oh, it's nearly gone. Here we go. Setting behind the rolling hills of the Serengeti. And there we go. As quick as that, another day has come to an end, and we are entering the crepuscular hour. Now, I'm still in search of that missing male cheetah. It could be a female for all I know that was around here. And I did hear some jackal's alarm calling, but we're quite far away. And they have an alarm called again, but I think it might be a little bit further towards the southeast. So I'm going to trundle on, and you never know what's around the next corner. But thanks everyone for enjoying that little bit of peaceful time with me on what's been an absolutely beautiful, brilliant day. Bye, Ellies. See you on the morrow. Now, it sounds like my good friend, the bearded Scott Dyson, has got some birds that have travelled all the way from, from an area where some of you might be watching from.
I don't think so. Well, sorry everyone, I didn't realize we were live. just as well Seb was concentrating. Glad you enjoyed a beautiful sunset with Brent. We have found something quite interesting. And I'm not sure if any of the other presenters have seen any European storks, which are the storks we are looking at now, in the Mara thus far. And they are on their way south. They migrate a far bigger distance than the wildebeest do. The wildebeest only go about 400 kilometers on their round trip, whereas these storks will go about 6,000 miles. So they're going to go all the way down to South Africa and could end up in the Sabi sands with Byron. And they're making their way here from Europe, where they nest often on chimney tops in Germany. And isn't it fascinating that they go from chimney tops in a built-up urban environment to now having to perch on precarious wobbly branches dotted along the Mara River. Quite fascinating, and happy to see these first four. They are obviously the sprinters leading the flock, and maybe we'll get to see a lot more of these in the coming weeks. And what will be very interesting is when they will actually arrive down south in South Africa. I can't remember if it's December that they usually arrive or late November. Oh, I can hear a lion roaring. Listen carefully. You may very, very faintly be able to pick up the grunting groans of a lion calling. Sadly, it's in an area where we've just come from, where we cannot off-road. And where we cannot off-road makes it very difficult for us to do our business. So we are going to pretend we never heard that lion and continue forth, as there are many lions in the Mara, and hopefully some of them will be on the left-hand side of this road, and that means we can follow them. If they're on the right-hand side, it means we cannot. And it must be said, even though we do have some regulations as to where we can go, there is a huge amount of freedom that we get given, more freedom than anyone actually in the Mara. So we are very, very fortunate with the rules that have been bent to allow us to spend the nights out and off-road in the majority of the reserve. Very good. Well, while we try something that would be worth justifying an off-road session for, we are going to be sending you back to Byron, I think, with some cute little hyena cubs.
It sounds like you're having a lovely time up in the Mara there and enjoying some wonderful sightings. And yeah, I know you're going on leave too soon, so you must be excited about that. Sorry, there's still these little playful hyenas. Look at them go. Oh, now they moved away from us, and now they decided to come back. But look at them, this weather, we've said it before, often rainy weather, cooler weather can often bring out the playful side in young animals. I think it's all exciting for them. They must be thirsty. We were commenting on it earlier because they were licking the moisture off the bull bar of the vehicle in the front, and then also licking the moisture off that adult that was it's lying down on the other side. But watch him go. Oh, shame. I'm so. You see that little tumble it just took? That was funny. The little one just decided to run in front of that larger one. Took its legs right out from under it. Sorry, excuse the poll, everyone. And obviously one of the hazards of having the roof on, but the rain this drizzle hasn't stopped. It's actually got, I would say, a bit heavier. I know it's starting to get dark in the Mara at the moment, so they're putting their infrared on. So you'll stick with us in these playful hyena cubs for the moment. which I'm sure none of you are complaining about. It's wonderful to see them. Hold on a second, so just getting an update now. Go ahead, Mike, go ahead. Oh, no, it sounds like those wild dog are up and down. They lost. Go ahead, Mike, go ahead. Sorry, everyone, let me just... No. Okay, copy, Mike. Thanks very much for updating me. That's alright, thank you. I was saying, unfortunately, the wild dogs... I'm going to listen out, but the problem is they're quite far from where we are now, because we drove down into that southeastern part of Djuma, and we had nothing, and now all of a sudden these wild dog have popped out. But they're not on Djuma yet. They're still on our neighbouring property, which we can't go to anyway. Excuse me, but hopefully, I don't know. I'm still listening. Maybe we get a view of them. I'm just trying to think, but they're on Torchwood, so chances of them coming back this way are unlikely, but I'll listen. If they change direction and head back this way, then we'll try shoot through to that side and hopefully get a view of them. But as you know, wild dog, it's not easy to see them, and they do cover huge distances very, very quickly. But at least we've got Playful hyena. It's quite funny. As soon as wild dogs arrive, the radio tends to get a lot busier, because the people obviously updating each other and trying to follow the wild dogs, which is not easy. Zia, you asked how big can the hyena get? If we look off just to the left, where's that adult? There we go. That big. So an adult hyena will weigh, I think, around 60 kilograms or so. 60, maybe 70 kilograms. Let me just double check in that mammal book for you quickly. I always like having... Sorry, I can't move anywhere because these hyena are running in the screen. I'm trying to stay out of the shot. Can you see them? They're next to the vehicle again. So let me just double check quickly on the size. That's why I say it's always important carrying a mammal book around with you. But I think if I'm not mistaken, it's about 60 or 70 kilograms. No, 60. They say up to 80 kilograms. So yeah, so between 60 and 80 kilograms. So yeah, I was right. Always helps. Just checking, like I say. Just double checking. So maybe a big female. Now I say a big female. Remember, the females are more dominant than the males. They're much larger, and the females will be the heavy ones, much heavier than a male with the hyena, which is strange. Doesn't happen with any of the other predators around here. Is it... Sorry, I didn't hear the name properly. Is it Reagan? I'm not sure. Sorry, but you asked about hyena and at what age they start eating meat. Well, I've seen youngsters snacking on little bones. Sorry, the pole's in the way. From a young age, 2 months already, starting to chew on little bones if they're brought to the den. Occasionally, the adults might bring leftovers back to the den. It happens from time to time, and I think you can actually see some bones just over there. Am I right? Is that... Yeah, see, little bones over there. So they do bring little bits and pieces of carcass to the den. I just want to double check, but I think it is little pieces of bone over there. Looks like it from here. So I think I think already these youngsters will be chewing on bits and pieces of meat. So from a young age, just like leopards and lions, also generally, and this is an average. It might be a bit earlier, depends if there's a kill close to den, might be a bit later, but about 2 months I would say that I've noticed with predators, and the youngsters will start chewing on bits and pieces of meat, but they will still suckle from the adults, so they will still have to drink milk from the adults at that age. But yeah, these young hyena, 2 months, 2.5 months, they'll be eating pieces of meat already. Now they've disappeared around to the back of the termite mound. Tula Ann, hello Tula Ann, and for those of you who don't know, Tula Ann's 5 years old, and always nice hearing from you, Tula Ann. I've missed you, haven't heard from you for a while. Now, you asked if the hyena think that maybe the car is a toy. Well, I wonder, Tula Ann, I wonder. You must remember, these little hyena, they've never seen a toy like we would give to our pets. So it's a very different behavior. This is something I think that is unusual, so something they're not used to. Maybe that's why it's just stirring a bit of curiosity inside them. So they're coming to investigate. They want to see what is this big thing that is around, and that's why they're licking and tasting. It's all new smells and tastes for them. That's why the hyena cubs are coming, more so than thinking it's an actual toy. I think it's because of the smells and it being so different. Nice to hear from you, Tula, and thank you for your question. I'm just trying to keep an ear out for those wild dog to see if they do head this way. Can't hear anything just yet. Sorry, that adult is still lying there. So the adult's not enjoying the cold weather as much. Not nearly as much as those youngsters are. They're very playful at the moment. I think I'm going to leave the den, see what's happening with those wild dogs. While I do that, let's go across to Jamie, who now has her infrared on, and see what nocturnal animals she might find this evening for us.
I'm hoping we can find you something interesting and nocturnal, hanging out perhaps around the luggers of the Talek region. I found 2 hyenas so far. One ran away from us immediately. The other one kind of wandered about, but unfortunately no sign of a den site. But we'll keep looking, and once we get to know this area better, I'm sure we'll actually find where they spend most of their time, because I know this Talek clan is absolutely enormous. As you've seen, while Scott's been following the 5 musketeers, they never seem to be able to make a kill without hyenas finding out exactly where they are and coming to steal it from them. Scott, I have to be honest, hyenas will eat everything, including snakes. I heard that today is World Reptile Day or International Reptile Day or something along those lines. I think it's World Reptile Day. And although we don't see that many snakes in the Masai Mara, there are around. And yes, absolutely a hyena will eat a snake. Is it going to try and risk itself by attacking a venomous snake? Potentially. I've never seen it though. I've seen a hyena scavenge a dead python before, but I've never ever seen them catch a snake. A live snake. That I've never seen, but I'm sure they do it. Hyenas will eat anything. Meat, bones, rotten meat, shoes, anything that they can find. I say shoes specifically because if you make the error of leaving your shoes outside, they will go to a hyena. Plain tires, vehicle tires, they like rubber especially. There's something about it that they just enjoy. I think it's the texture, it's like a chew toy. Rubbish bins. Hyenas will eat most things. But perhaps we'll get lucky. Maybe we'll find a hyena den, maybe we'll find a leopard lurking. Aardwolf. I'm still waiting to see an aardwolf in the Mara. An aardwolf, by the way, for those of you who are new to these live safaris, is arguably a type of hyena, but it is an insectivore, so it doesn't eat rotting carcasses. Okay, well, we scan about basically the far eastern side of our Traverse region. Let's go back west to Scott, who's also got his spotlight out.
Yes, I do. I am hoping to find a chameleon, seeing as though it is World Reptile Day and I've yet to find you a reptile. A chameleon is kind of our last straw now, although we could find a snake slithering about. You get some snakes that are sometimes a little bit more active nocturnally than diurnally, and that would be a very pleasant surprise. I don't think I've managed to show you a snake yet since I've been here. Sadly, our plight to find chameleons is not going to be easy. I've seen very, very few since I've been here. I'm hoping as it continues to warm up, we'll be able to see more. Same as down in the Sabi sands, where Byron is. In the winter months, you see very few, but in summer, they're very, very easy to find. So we may have to rely on him. On the Safari Live Instagram page, there's a beautiful picture of Taylor McCurdy's of a chameleon. You get lots of really cool chameleons in Kenya that you don't find in South Africa. The Von Honnell's chameleon, the Jackson's three-horn chameleon are two of my favorites, and the most easily distinguished from the flapneck chameleon that you get down south. Hello Hank, you would like to know what is the biggest snake in the Mara, and it is the African rock python. I'm told there was one that ate a hyena not so long ago, maybe 4 months ago. How hectic is that? And pythons can be up to 6 meters in length. That'll be a monster. And like most things in life, you'll get slight size differences in different areas. So I'm not sure if there's many monsters here. I know Zululand down in South Africa on the east coast is an area where you get absolute monsters and lots of them. Obviously the one that ate a hyena must have been quite big. But the only python that any of us, I think, have seen so far since we've been here was Taylor the other day. Somewhere in this area there were some grey-crowned cranes that were kind of pecking at one, and it was striking out at them in defense. But that way, I wonder who would come a second runner-up in this area. Maybe the black spitting cobra. I wonder what would get bigger than that. Lots of bugs out tonight, that's for certain. You can probably see them all flying past us. They could be reproductive. Let's try and work out what these things are. As you can see, they're being blown with the wind. I'm gonna have to try and catch one. Yeah, they are. They're reproductive termites. I'm almost. I think one landed on my face. It did. Sorry, I'm shining the torch wildly. Oh yes, we've got it. It is a reproductive termite, and I'm just going to put it on my hand here. We've got a few of them in the car. There's one on my finger. It's flown off. Now there's one on my leg. Sorry. So their wings do fall off. Sorry, let me keep my hand still there. It's on my baby finger. There we go. So that's a reproductive termite. They're quite small ones, these. They're not the biggest. They can sometimes be about 4 or 5 times the size of this. And this is a huge reason why lots of lots of animals will migrate to feast on these reproductive termites. There are millions of them that erupt in the summer months, and are very high in protein. Good. All right, well, we will let this reproductive termite continue looking for the love of its life, and while we do that, we'll send you back to Jamie.
We found, well, some of the loves of my life in the form of 4-5 spotted hyena. So this is obviously where they hang out. We're now in infrared, watching them as they wander through. Hey guys, I don't think it's a den site, but I think it's where they've spent the day in the shades of a tree. And now they're heading off on a mission, possibly towards the herds of wildebeest that are just across this lugger and in that direction. Here come the rest of them. Izzy, yes, hyenas do phlegm and grimace, but you don't see it often. I think that his sense, I don't know if their sense of smell is so powerful that they often don't need to, or if there's a situation where I hardly ever see them do it, and when they do it, I've seen them do it around an anal pasting. So obviously anal paste is what hyena produce. They're quite a few different animals that produce it. Hyenas do mark their territory in that way, and also basically it's essentially their equivalent of a social media update. Who they are, what they're doing, all of that sort of thing. Are they ready to mate? Hey, what you guys got over there? Let's go down that way. There's something there that they've got. Perhaps a stash of food in the water. So all mammals have a way of doing a phlegm and grimace. At least the ones that we see. Most of the time it's that lip curled look. But in elephants, what they'll do is they'll reach forward and they'll actually put the tip of their trunk on the smell and then in their mouths. What are you lot up to? A little bit unrelaxed around vehicles, so let me just stop here. A little bit skittish. It looks to me like they've got something at the back there. Or it did. I thought I saw one of them with something in its mouth. Hey, Tesla! Tesla is one of our 7-year-old viewers, and she regularly watches our live safaris. Now, Tesla, you would like to know how much meat a hyena eats in one day. Well, obviously they can, just like the lions and the cheetah and the leopards that we see. Obviously they can go for a while without eating, but when they do eat, they gorge themselves possibly even more than lions or leopards or cheetah might do. You've seen how fat their bellies get when they found something good to eat. I wonder if they've just found something smelly. I could have sworn I saw something in their mouth. Here come the hyenas back again. So Tesla, you could easily be looking at over 5 kilograms of meat in one go. That's over 10 pounds. And maybe even more than that. Although they're not as heavy as a lion, they can still eat a huge amount of meat when they want to. I don't know what the most is that a hyena's ever eaten in one sitting. But we know that they eat lots and lots when they can. What was extraordinary to me was the speed with which the scavengers devoured that hippopotamus carcass that we found a couple of weeks ago. I couldn't believe that an entire hippo was gone in essentially a day. Oh, hello, boys. What you doing? A little bit of sniffing. There's definitely something there. It looks like a leg, from what I can see. I don't want to get too much closer because they are a little bit skittish. Whatever it is, it can't, either they're not that hungry or it can't be that appetizing. There can't be that much meat left on it. They're not fighting over it. They're not squabbling. Oh, look, it's a leg. Oh, it's a full leg. Beautiful. Now, I wonder, was that killed here or was that brought here? Hyenas regularly drag bits of carcass around, which is why often when we go back to where there's a kill, it's been moved a little bit. And the higher ranking females will take the kills to the den sites. I've seen an entire impala get dragged easily 4 kilometers by the matriarch of a clan to her cubs. And cubs weren't even really old enough to even know what to do with it. They just played inside of it. Bit of toing and froing. I think this lot warming up for a night of mischief and mayhem. Oh, there we go. There we go. Little squeak. Full leg and a shoulder. Probably from a buffalo, by the looks of things. Don't think that's a wildebeest. Doesn't look sharp enough. Looks like a front leg of a buffalo. Well, the hyena are more than capable of killing something as large as a buffalo, particularly in numbers like we see here. Doesn't look very appetizing though, does it? There's not all that much left, especially with this many wildebeest still around, because the wildebeest really are still around. Heading off to go about. Where'd they all go? No, there they are. There is something. Can't tell if it's a hyena or something else, but there's something in the bushes close to them. And I am using my light now just to give us a little bit of a boost so that we can see properly. There's something in there. I think it might be just the reflection from another hyena eye. I just saw it ever so briefly. It must be another hyena. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, there's two hyenas in there. Jess, I'm not sure about this. I seem to have noticed a slight reduction in fluffiness of the hyenas here. They are much fluffier in the Mara because on average it is colder and much higher than the sands. But I don't know whether or not there's a huge amount of shedding that's done over summer and winter. If it does happen, I think it would be more likely to happen in South Africa, just because the extremes of climate are more pronounced. Okay, so we've all gone that way, by the looks of things. Let's go a little bit and see what they are. I think they've crossed through the slugger. Let me go and have a look. I don't know, actually. I'm very sorry, Chantal, I missed that completely. Please, could you repeat it? Oh, Billy, who is 5 years old. Hello, Billy. Billy, you would like to... Oh, it's the car making that noise. I thought it was a hyena. Billy, you would like to know if hyenas can swim like you. Well, Billy, I assume you're an exceptionally good swimmer, so I'm not sure if they could swim as fast as you, and maybe you can hold your breath for a very long time, which probably hyenas can't. But yes, they can swim, and hyenas really, really like water. Now, it sounds to me like you like water as well. Well, hyenas love water, and what they like to do is they like to go and dive underwater. Sometimes they roll around in it, and they really like muddy water. So not just water, not swimming pool water, they like muddy water. It helps to keep them cool. I say as the hyenas vanish. I think I'm going to let them continue on their nightly excursions. I'm not going to go and find ourselves in the middle of a wildebeest chaos stampede, because there are lots of wildebeest there. Here we are. Hello. As night descends in the Mara, the hyenas may or may not shed their coats, but we certainly do, and Scott has just popped his on.
Yes, I've bundled up. It's cold tonight. And I'm wearing short-sleeved longs, which means I'm wearing shorts, which means my legs are cold. And not too much action to warm up our souls at this stage, but that could change at any point. For now, though, it's just fields of open grass. Still need to get Seba's first serval sighting here. So maybe we'll get lucky with one of those. I haven't seen one for quite some time, so I'm actually overdue a visit from one. Hello, Michael. You would like to know if there are any bats in the Mara, and yes, there certainly are. Mainly insect-eating bats. I haven't seen or heard any fruit-eating bats. To be honest, it wouldn't be the brightest place to be a fruit-eating bat because there's not a whole bunch of trees with fruits on them. I guess along the Mara River it's fairly well wooded, but in general, I mean, there's just not much for them to snack on. But for the insect-eating bats, there's plenty of food, and they certainly are about. Obviously, they're tricky customers for us to try and show you when they're flying about, because they fly at such high speeds and on such varying trajectories, flitzing from one direction to the other. Come on, serval, or caracal, or porcupine, or zorilla, or aardvark, or aardwolf. All of you we would like to see. All of those animals actually have been seen by some of us. I've been lucky enough to have 2 aardwolf sightings. Brent's got the aardvark and zorilla and porcupine. Jamie's got the caracal, I think. Come on, creatures, where are you hiding? Hello, Contrawa. Well, good to have you on board. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. And you would like to know, when will the long grass grow? And basically, it's going to start growing now. It's the end of the dry season and we're getting a lot of rain, so it will start and it will continue to grow up until until the wildebeest arrive next year in kind of June or July. There's the short rains in November as a rough guideline in Kenya, and then the long rains in March, April. So obviously the long rains will have, in theory, a bigger effect on the grass's ability to grow. So, yeah, it's starting now, as we speak. And depending on how much rainfall does fall and how favorable the conditions are, the grass can get very, very tall in some areas. 8, 9, 10 feet high, I'm told. And it's important to realize that this year we went into the migration with longish grass, but not nearly as long as it can get. Kenya is going through a kind of nationwide drought. It's been going for 2 years, and even though an area like this looks lush now, it may not be as lush as it ordinarily would be when the rains fall as they should. Hi Debbie, you'd like to know if there's animals that seem to really enjoy the rain? Yes, frogs. Frogs love it. What else? Sometimes post-rain you see some excitement and joy as antelope run around. But generally, when it is raining, everything looks quite miserable. I guess elephants may possibly, speaking of which, there's someone alright. Elephants may also, not be hugely perturbed and may enjoy a cooling rain shower. But as a general rule, I think it's fair to say most animals prefer it when it's bright and sunny. Other than the frogs, of course. Okay, so as you can see, it's pitch black, but once Seb hits his infrared lights, cha-ching, we can see. Beautiful. And the technology that allows us to view these animals without shining any lights and therefore interfering in any way really is quite fantastic. And it's allowed us to already get some incredible moments captured after dark, and hopefully we will continue to be able to spend more time after dark. Very good. It's interesting here. It looks like they're trying to pull out the pieces of grass that are growing in and around that little bush there that other animals would have had difficulty getting to, but with their very clever noses they can wiggle on in there, rip out some grass and chomp down on it. Hello Andre, you'd like to know how many hours on average will elephants sleep during a day? And I'm told that it's on average of about 6 to 8 hours, of which they'll probably split up into a few small snoozes. Oh sorry, stay on their feet. Well, some elephants will stay on their feet for 24 hours straight, no problem. You very seldomly see adult elephants lying down, even though they do. Saw a big one sleeping the other day. It was really cool, passed out. They usually use termite mounds or small banks to kind of lie on at an angle. You very seldom see them just lying on completely flat ground like the youngsters do. So yeah, I mean, on average, your average adult elephant will be on its feet just about permanently. You very seldom see them lie down. Having said that, I've never spent 24 hours with an elephant, so I'm just assuming, piecing together a puzzle of many sightings had with them. Like most four-legged animals, they can sleep standing up. Of course, we can't comprehend that because we only use 2 of our limbs to walk. Hello, Riti. You would like to know what is the funniest thing baby elephants do? And for me, it is swing their trunk around wildly when they cannot control it, or sometimes bite onto it in frustration. So I like seeing them working out how exactly to work that complex tool. So that's something quite funny sometimes, Riti, although another very funny thing that sometimes happened, probably funnier than them having to deal with their trunks when they don't have coordination over them, would be charging vehicles. You sometimes get these tiny little elephants that come charging up to the vehicles, showing us how big and strong they are. And it's, you know, that's probably the funniest for me. Very good, and it seems like this elephant's gone and done the same thing, going through these thick bushes that will act like kind of natural fences to prevent animals from getting at the grass that grows in and amongst them. But the elephants are now using their wonderful tool, the trunk, as well as their knowledge of the fact that they can find little bits that other animals would not be able to get to very easily. Alrighty then. We're going to send you across to Jamie now to hear her thoughts on what the funniest thing a baby elephant can do is.
Oh, there's nothing better than watching little baby elephants. They're hilarious. One of my favorite moments recently was with Dave, and there were 2 baby elephants playing, and the one was trying to, a bit younger than the other, the one was trying to entice the other into a game, and it wasn't really working out, and it was running backwards and forwards until the older one stopped, and the little one ran straight into it and fell backwards on its bottom. I think baby elephants are almost always hilarious. They are so playful, and then when they're trying to figure out their trunks and it's all gone wrong and then they're swirling them around, I think baby elephants are a joy to watch. I'm lost, by the way. Well, not lost. I just can't find the road that I want to be on. But that's okay. It's dark. Ow! Bug to the face, bug to the eye. Oh. It's alright, it's not in the eye. Yeah. This morning I pulled the remains of a combination of bug and mud out of the corner of my eye that had obviously made its way there. It's the one hazard of driving around with these spotlights. I've actually started to get a bit nervous. We are south. Oh well. Oh well. It's alright. Oh, of course, it's a comedy on all sides. Here, first there's flying bugs smacking us in the face and chatting about baby elephants. Let's go across to Byron to find out what funny baby elephant stories he has to share. Oh dear, I'm sorry. So much for Byron's funny stories. That's okay. I'm now driving east. There might not be a road, but I'm going to drive east on it. I'm taking a shortcut. And you'll see me drop my spotlight, and the reason that I'm doing that is we're surrounded by wildies, and they tend to get a little bit silly when confronted with this sort of scenario. They're the only animal that does it, but as soon as one panics, you've got sheer panic. And they start to gallop around in circles, and I don't want to add to their confusion. Typically when we spotlight diurnal animals, as soon as we see them, we just pass over them quickly so that we don't dazzle them. But essentially, the idea is to avoid that. Oh no, I'm driving straight at a massive herd. That's okay. I'll drive around the massive herd. Now I do need my spotlight just in case. Which is a... Ow! Bug to the face! Now it's still there. Hey, get off! Christmas people. Fruit chafer. It hurts when they fly in at full speed. And then it clung to my eyelid. Was not welcome at all. Right, you go overboard. Chafer. Bye-bye. As soon as I pulled my spotlight out. Oh, goodness. Panic, we got panic. No, we don't have panic. Okay, let's try that once more. Let's send you over to Byron, who apparently has managed to find some signal.
Well, let's try that again. Hopefully our signal stays. I think, unfortunately, this weather at the moment, as all of you know, the weather plays a huge role in signal, and I think that's plagued us this afternoon. So we weren't able to drive very far. But it's okay. It's okay. We'll see what we can find in the spotlights. The last little bit of time we have on drive. I was talking about the elephants, and baby elephants are so funny to watch. And I agree with Jamie. Just watching the youngsters when they're learning how their trunks work. They sway them all over the show. It's really, really funny to watch. They are very playful and often falling over each other and pushing each other. It's really entertaining. A dip here. I hope we do not lose. I'm holding my breath. Let's see. Quick little dip. Hopefully you are all still there. No, we haven't had, I think with this weather too, it's going to be difficult to find nocturnal animals walking around. However, you never know. It could bring out animals like, and dare I say, pangolin and aardvark. With weather like this, it might activate a lot of termite species, so that could potentially bring a lot of those nocturnal animals out, but maybe a bit later in the evening. Alright, well, let's go across now to Scott, still in the Mara, and apparently he's got a mongoose. I wonder which one it is, if it's a white-tailed mongoose or not.
Well, at the moment it's the kind of mongoose that you cannot see because we've had to move forward to allow a vehicle past the bridge. Oh, there's a stall. Good evening. So let's get back into position on this little bridge, and hopefully some very rare mongoose that I don't think you've ever seen before may just pop out. They were kind of slowly making their way, it looked like, up the river towards us. Oh, there it is, on the right of those leaves dangling down right at the top of your screen there. Nice, Seb, perfect. So you're just getting a little glimpse there. It's a brown mongoose, and they are often active nocturnally. It's behind those big green leaves on the top of your frame there. It may pop out just to the left, I think, if it continues on its course that it was moving. Please come out into the open, because I don't think any of you have seen a water... Oh, there's one. Cool. Awesome. So this is the rarely seen water mongoose. And if we're lucky, we're going to see it foraging in the water for some snacks. It's following a small river. There it is, doing what water mongoose do best, get into the water. And I wonder what you're looking for dinner. Is it frogs mainly, or crabs? I'm actually not too sure. I don't know a whole bunch about these creatures. I've spent very, very little time with them, and this is the best sighting I've actually ever had of one of them. Initially I thought it was otters. That got me very excited. Oh, well, we are lucky. It's coming closer towards us, so we're going to get better and better views. Hopefully, unless it disappears down a small ditch, which it seems like it's done there. But it should pop up at some point, and I'm very happy to hear that there's a lot of you expressing your excitement there. It's right at the bottom of your screen. It's popped out lower, Seb. There we go. Yeah, perfect. Looks like it's making its way back down towards the little riverbed now. Sheesh, it's making Seb's life tricky, the route it's deciding to take, but hopefully it's going to pop out now just in front of that little tuft of grass. There we go, here it comes. Aha. Very good. How cool is this? Please find something to eat. It will be very useful for us to know what it is you like. Huh. Well. Oh, I just saw a bit of a flash of movements. I wonder if it didn't pounce onto something, if it was just jumping up to get to its next spot. Well, I think that now is the end of that. It's moved into some very, very long grass, and it's kind of heading below where we will be able to get any visuals of it. It may actually pass underneath this bridge that we parked on. Let's see if there's any sign of its partner before we head off. Its partner was lingering around here somewhere. No joy. Oh well, that was most wonderful. We got a rare, special, and possibly a first for a lot of you. Wonderful. Thumbs up. Well, interestingly, Byron has the possible prey that this water mongoose might be looking for, so why don't you go and take a closer look?
have a look. We have managed to find a little frog. So some of the creatures that do come out when the rain arrives and all this moisture are, of course, our amphibian friends. And there's a beautiful little frog. Now, I don't know what species this is. I've never seen this species before. We think it might be a river frog. So I'm going to see if I can try identify it. Maybe I'll post something on Twitter later. But beautiful orange stripe down the back. Some wonderfully camouflaged coloration. It's got a fairly sharpish nose from what I saw earlier. It's facing away from us now. But I just caught a glimpse of it jumping across the road. That's how we spotted it. Because it's a small little frog, not a big frog at all. That's really beautiful. Nice to see something like this at night. And there are some other rain frogs calling at the moment too. But you can see just off in the grass, a tiny little frog, must be about that big. Not very big at all, but nice little surprise. So we hopefully our signal now will be fine for the rest of drive, for what's left of it. And yeah, as I said, my last drive, I think, for the year, unfortunately. So this stint is finished, and but then I think James and Steph and some of the other presenters might be back. So there's no need for me anymore. I am now rendered useless. Anyway, but I'm glad some of the others are coming back from the Mara. It'll be nice to have James back on Djuma again, of course. So yeah, this is, I think, the last one for the year. So it's been a great year. It's funny to be saying goodbye 2 months before the end of the year, but I suppose I will have to. I am going down to Cape Town. I know some of you are wondering where am I heading. I am going down to Cape Town for a while, and I may be doing a trip to Londolozi next month again, which would be great. So that could be fun, just a short trip. So that might happen next month, and then I think maybe just a long holiday. Why not? But it has been wonderful again, this last little stint. A lot of leopards, no lions unfortunately, but a lot of leopard activity and some great leopard sightings. And actually, what am I talking about? Of course we saw lions, we saw the male lions, we saw the I've had a complete blank, everyone. The Birmingham males, and two of them that kill the carcass from Tingana, that big male leopard, they climbed that marula tree to get to the kill. That was a fascinating sighting. So that was great. And then, of course, a lot of interaction between different leopards. Hasana with Tundi the one day, and then Hasana with Shadow and her cub. So there's a lot going on, which was wonderful. All right, I think I'm going to check around this area with the spotlight a bit more. Let's quickly go back across to Scott, who I think might be heading back up to camp.
Yes, we certainly are heading back, and terrible news that it's Byron's last drive of the year. I had no idea. So I'm sure a lot of you will be deeply saddened by the fact that it'll be a while before he gets to take you on safari. And I must give him a call and find out what he's got planned. Or maybe he's semi-retiring, who knows. If so, Byron, I'll happily come and become your butler at your mansion if you are retiring. It'll be an honor to serve you in your old age as you enjoy life, having made your riches already. And looking forward to the morning adventure. You'll be out, hey Seb, in the morning? Yeah. Okay, so it'll probably be Seb and I teamed up again tomorrow on this side of the Riviera. and I'm not entirely sure what Brent and Jamie's movements are. I think they may be spending another day across there. Shame, poor old Jamie, she's stuck. Can you believe it? After spending a whole long day out, she's got stuck very close to her camp. Anyway, I think her and Brent are going to still be focusing on the joys of the reserve and the many cheetah that exist there. So that's something that all of us can look forward to. I watched Brent's Facebook Live today. It was incredibly exciting with Malika and her boys. Alrighty, well, it sounds like Jamie is going to allow you into her sticky situation so she can say goodbye.
Well, I'm not stopping. That's all I can say is I'm not stopping at any point. We nearly got stuck. We didn't, but we nearly got stuck. We just had a brief moment. It doesn't count because we were out in about 2 seconds. I'm stuck. Uh-oh. We should be okay. Alrighty. We're not going to stop. We're not going to slow down. We're just going to go until we hit the road and are out of this mud. Off you pop to Byron for the last few minutes of the sunset safari.
Well, in the last few minutes, Jamie, Scott, thank you very, very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening on that side of the continent. So it was a bit difficult this afternoon with the rain. We didn't see too much, but we got to see a big elephant, which I'm very happy about, and those wonderful, playful young hyena that were trying to chew our tires at one point, but it was really nice to see them. So, as I said, we've been plagued by some signal issues, but I think it's because of this cloudy, windy weather that we've been having, so it does play quite a big role on affecting the signal, but it does get better from time to time. And that is it, I suppose, from me for this year. And it's been a lot of fun as always, but I'm sure I'll see all of you in the new year probably. So I think thank you very much to the team in the Mara, of course, and especially the Djuma team, Tristan, Ali, and especially young Megan. She's done an amazing job here running the show by herself for quite some time. We have had a bit of help from some of the other FC girls, but Megan's been here for quite a while, for 3 months I think, almost by herself, so thanks Megan. But thank you, of course, big thank you to all of the viewers. It's always nice hearing from you, and hope you've enjoyed the drives with me over the last little while. But as I said, I'll probably see you in the new year again, and enjoy the rest of the safaris for this year. I'm sure there's still a lot of action to come from the Mara as well as from Djuma, and King James will be back, which is exciting. I may or may not watch one or two of the shows when he is on. Don't tell him because he'll make a big deal about it. But we'll see you all again soon. Tristan will be out tomorrow morning again. So thank you, VM. Thank you very much on camera. VM's been great the last little while as the only cam up here in Djuma, but I suppose that's it. So thank you everyone. Have a wonderful festive season when it does approach. Hope you all travel safely if you're traveling around the world. We'll see you on safari. Take care from Djuma, from myself, Byron. Good night and goodbye everyone.